Russia has moved closer toward having a full team with its national flag and anthem at their 2028 Los Angeles Olympics after the IOC provisionally lifted its suspension of the Russian Olympic Committee. Now, Olympic sports bodies have been advised to end a 3-year program requiring them to vet Russian athletes for permission to compete as neutrals. The Russian Olympic Committee was suspended in October 2023 for recognising regional sport councils in occupied parts of eastern Ukraine following the 2022 invasion.
We wanted to ensure all athletes have the possibility to compete at the Olympic Games and not be held responsible for their government's actions. And I believe that this is what this decision speaks to. It allows for Russian athletes to take part in sport competitions. But we've also been very clear that we do not condone any violence and war around the world. And we will continue with that stance.
The IOC's guidance is not binding for the governing bodies of individual sports, but Russia's sports minister says it should clear the way for the country's athletes to make a full return to the international stage.
The IOC's 2023 decision has always been the basis for international federations. They always cited it whenever they barred our national teams from competing in full force. That decision is now a thing of the past. It is history and the matter is closed. Moving forward and acting on the instructions of President Vladimir Putin, we will work to restore all sports and all Russian national teams to international competition with our flag and anthem.
The move comes 2 months after the IOC advised that athletes from Belarus, Russia's main ally in the Ukraine war, should be allowed to compete with their full national identity. Ukraine's foreign ministry has called the IOC's decision troubling, while Ukrainian skeleton racer Vladislav Heraskevich, who was disqualified from this year's Winter Olympics for wearing a helmet carrying a message about Ukraine, has condemned the move.
We should understand that on the background of this news, we have shellings just every other day in Ukraine. And today, even today, like this day, we have day of mourning because a lot of victims was killed in previous attack. And to see that Russian flags are now welcomed once again by IOC, it's absolutely shameful. And I cannot understand this decision.
Dr. Catherine Ordway is a sport integrity expert at the UNSW Business School, and she joins us now from Maruya on the New South Wales South Coast. Dr. Ordway, welcome. What is your understanding of why this decision has been made and why now?
Well, I guess it's really a pragmatic one, isn't it? Because initially the ban related to the anti-doping matters that were unearthed in 2016, and then there was this decision about the impact of the Russian invasion into Ukraine and that the Ukrainian athletes were unable to compete, and it was also a breach of the truce period under the Olympic Charter. However, the difficulty for the International Olympic Committee, of course, is that a number of countries are at war, not least of which one of the most powerful countries in the world, the USA, with also one of the biggest Olympic teams. So is the International Olympic Committee then going to be forced to ban countries such as the US and Israel if it maintained its ban of Russia because of its incursion into Ukraine? This is the real difficulty for the International Olympic Committee.
Yeah, it sounds like it. And so I guess with that in mind, I mean, are you surprised by this decision at all?
Not really, because we're leading into an Olympic Games, of course, in Los Angeles, which is going to be held by the USA, which is one of the countries that is currently causing havoc around the world and has just today, earlier in your bulletin, talked about the war in Iran. So how does the International Olympic Committee grapple with a host nation that is actually involved in a number of different wars in different countries? So the International Olympic Committee, I suppose, is being pragmatic. Again, they're putting it down to the international federations to make decisions individually. Sports, like World Athletics has said that they will maintain their ban. World Aquatics, of course, lifted their ban against Russian athletes in April. Gymnastics, similarly, Even Gianni Infantino has indicated that it's really unfair to youth athletes, so he would welcome the opportunity for younger athletes to play football from Russia. So there's going to be a bit of a mixed bag as a number of international federations will be meeting following this decision overnight.
Yeah, so, I mean, at this point, it's a step towards a full return of Russian athletes, but are you expecting that it will be a full return at some point?
Certainly, it seems to be a step by step, and I can see a situation where the Russian athletes will be fully allowed to compete. At the moment, there's no word on whether they can wear their uniform, whether they'll have their anthem played if they win medals, and whether their flag will also be displayed. I can see a scenario where that happens in the future because the International Olympic Committee, after all, and the athletes competing at the Olympics want to compete against the best athletes in the world. And from a perspective of peace, sport provides the opportunity for social cohesion and to break down radicalisation and to foster friendships and fun and break down those barriers between people that lead to wars. So if there is a role for the International Olympic Committee, it is to foster all that is good about sport. And this is one step forward, I suppose.